It's unfortunate that we can hear Israeli spokespeople who are speaking on behalf of a military force that is inflicting massive civilian casualties on the ground stand here in front of your viewers and essentially blame the victims for their own deaths. I think there's something fundamentally wrong and in fact racist about that argument.
Oh, it's racist now. Welcome to Give Me Five. It's racist, according to the head of the Jerusalem Fund and Palestine Center, if you blame properly Hamas for the death of their own people, for using them as human shields and putting missiles in schools and mosques and hospitals. That's now racist. Are you following this? Only on MSNBC. And there's more. I shouldn't say that, because HuffPo did an interview with another gentleman, and it only gets from bad to worse. Watch.
Right now is a tumultuous time worldwide. If you look at what's happening in Ukraine, if you look at what's happening in the Middle East, and there's been so much discussion about the way that the media covers conflict areas, conflict zones like this, specifically when it comes to what's happening between Israel and Palestine and in Gaza. What do you think of the job that the media does, and do they give a fair assessment? Do they provide both sides of the situation, both narratives, or do they really cater to one more than the other?
Gee, you think she's loading up a softball there and waiting for them to hit it out of the park? Well, I'll argue that the media, certainly worldwide, I'll argue that the media, certainly worldwide, presents the Palestinian view. And in this country, I watch CNN, I watch what's going on. It's one Palestinian story after another Palestinian story. And evil Israel. Come on, who are you kidding? But that's not good enough for these folks here. Watch.
We could say this every time I come on your show and talk to you. We've hit all-time lows with media coverage in this country. When you look at what's happening right now in Gaza, this is a massive massacre and one epic series of war crime after war crime, child after child being killed. And most news organizations are forced to acknowledge that the Palestinians and its children and whole families are being killed. They're forced to because cameras are there. They're forced to because there are reporters that are on the ground reporting on that.
It's a massacre. It's racist if you say that the Hamas is responsible for the death of their own people. And it's a massacre what Israel's doing, a massacre. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a shame when any civilian dies, but I blame Hamas for each death. And what I'd like to do, and maybe I'll do it tonight, I'm going to count up and try to find out the number of every single bombing that Israel launched from the air, every tunnel they've blown up, every incursion, try to get the number, and then give you the total number of deaths, okay? And you divide them, and you tell me if that's a massacre. More.
But if you step back and you look at the way that this is always framed over these weeks of Israel's constant bombardment of Gaza, it's as though Hamas and Israel are sort of two equal military powers fighting one another. How do they reconcile that with all of the pictures of the Iron Dome stuff and Israelis sitting up there and basically treating it like it's a barbecue and watching the missiles pop in the Iron Dome? We're talking about a nuclear-powered nation that has a history of systematically killing Palestinians, indiscriminately targeting civilians and civilian institutions. When it's covered in the media here, it's as though Hamas is the Palestinian people and that it's just a battle between two military powers.
I'm so sorry that Hamas doesn't have the capabilities militarily that Israel does. Again, make you happy? One more.
Benjamin Netanyahu and Israeli propagandists are largely given carte blanche to say what they want on American television with very little pushback. People should watch the interview that Jon Snow, a British journalist from Channel 4, who's a legendary sort of anchor, who actually is in Gaza right now. He's a fairly old man, and he went to Gaza. He interviewed the Israeli government spokesman and destroyed him. And that's how it was presented around the world. It's so pathetic that what was actually just a tough, good interview is viewed as having destroyed the spokesperson. Why do people perceive it like that? Because it never happens. You don't see that on American television.
Yeah, I'm sure this guy destroyed the Israeli spokesperson because he really has no argument to make, and he's morally wrong, so I'm sure he was destroyed. Folks, what could I tell you? And this guy really wasn't challenged on that interview. It's a shame.